want intensity. You want anger. You want ferocity. And what you want is Week 5 of NFL Primetime, where division leaders went head-to-head. Where unbeaten teams tried to beat each other into a pulp. Where newcomers immediately stepped to the forefront. And those on their way to postseason baseball left the calling card. Some teams came from way back. Others welcomed back their young leaders. Still others continue their backward spin. I said still others continue their backward spin. Hey, heads up, Primetime is done. Once again, everybody, I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to week number 5 of ESPN's NFL Primetime. Some primetime games involving some primetime teams. Some other games that were supposed to be blowouts weren't that way. To help tell us about it, Robin Roberts as always, and surprise, Joey's Tea. Joe Theismann is here because Tom Jackson is in Denver as his number and name were put up in the Broncos Ring of Fame at Mile High Stadium. First, though, let's get you caught up on the late game. And we've just been told that the Phoenix Cardinals, with about a minute or so to go in that game at Sun Devil Stadium, have just scored. They've come from way back. They've taken the lead over the Redskins, 26-24. They're setting up for the extra point right now. So the Redskins, Mark Rippon has thrown some interceptions, let the Cards get back in it. Now he's going to have to bring the Redskins from behind to try and win it. We'll update you and have highlights of that later. Other late games. The Raiders finally win. Jager finally kicks a field goal. It's late. And the Raiders beat the Giants 13-10. Mike Kofer, a doghouse earlier this year for the 49ers, kicked a 21-yard field goal with just seconds to go, and the Niners escaped the wrath of the LA Rams 27-24. The Chiefs never win at Denver. They're leading 19-13, but they're forced to punt about a minute to go. The Broncos have one last shot, down 6. We'll update you on that and show you highlights of that a little bit later. And, oh, yes, the Chargers beat the Seahawks 17-3 at the Murph. All right, where do we begin? Let's start in Tampa Bay. That's right, the Buccaneers at the Big Sombrero against the Indianapolis Colts. And the Bucs all of a sudden have gone from this game a year ago, which was Super Bowl II against the Colts, to a first-place game. Now, a full hat or close to one at the Big Sombrero, and the fans in Tampa Bay expecting a blowout of the Colts. Would they get one? Well, Jeff George's first play of the year, badly underthrown to Foghorn Langhorn. Second play to Jesse Hester. Worked into the hands of Marty Carter for Tampa Bay. 2 passes, 1 pick. Vinny Testaverde, the Buccaneers, wearing those Natalie-clad orange pants. Take over at the 43, and he connects with Willie Soviet Drury for 18 yards. 3 plays later, 3rd and long, to Stanford Jennings. Sam had him with Cincinnati, now he has him with Tampa Bay, 7-0 touchdown.
Yeah, well, take a look at the D-backs. They're man-to-man. Everybody blitzes, except they forget Stanford Jennings. Right up the middle of the field. He's looking around saying, where is everybody? I'll go in the end zone.
So the Bucs lead it. Indy takes over the first play of their second series. Jeff George flushed out of the pocket. The duck is picked off by Darrell Bullington, so 2 picks in his first 3 attempts of 1992. And the Bucs take over. Tight end Tiny G. Armstrong tips it, but Chris Good collects it for the Colts, and he giveth, he returneth. He could go, not all the way, but down to the 2-yard line. Next play, Rodney Culver goes the rest of the way from the 2, and the Bucs and Colts are tied at 7. Second quarter, Tampa Bay takes over. Reggie Cobb, look at him. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 guys. Couldn't tackle him. He's ruled down at the 1, but give him the ball again, fine. Touchdown, Cobb, 14-7 Buccaneers. Jeff George in the first half, while the Colts hardly had the ball, Jeff George was 3 of 13 for 57 yards. Second half, a little better. George gets warmed up, and he hits Reggie Langhorn from 15 yards down to the 43-yard line. Then he looks for Anthony Johnson, little swing pass, breaks the tackle down to the Tampa Bay 39. Next play, George. Looking at Jesse Hester. Beats Gary Lewis. No diamond ring for him. 39-yard touchdown. We're tied at 14. Colts up 17-14 in the 4th. But the Bucs driving. New Buck, James Brooks. Tony McCoy recovers for the Colts. Reggie Langhorne gets both feet in. 5 plays later, George's pass to Terry Cash splits Marty Carter and Darrell Fullington 24-14. And what a better second half for Jeff George. Down 10, Sam Weiss calls for a fake field goal by Ken Willis. The holder, Straczynski, flips to Ron Hall, but Chip Banks stops it.
Yeah, but take a look at the right side. Chip Banks just stays home. That's the toughest thing to do to teach an outside rusher. Stay home.
They needed a field goal and a touch. Sam was thinking touch first. Didn't matter, they got neither. And the Indianapolis Colts, they're 1 for 1 with Jeff George at the helm this year. They win at Tampa Bay 24-14. And Joe, you know, Jeff George's appearance, let's face it, in the first half you saw he wasn't good. But what does it mean for the Colts to have him duck behind center?
I think it means stability. It's been the one thing that the Colts have waited for. They've waited for that stability at quarterback. There's been all talk about what Ted Marchibota was going to be able to do with that offense and Jeff George. It finally came to fruition today. He finally had a chance to go out and get the job done behind center.
I'll tell you something else about the Buccaneers in this one, is that this was a game, I mean, you learn some lessons, don't you? And part of the way of becoming a good team is these games that you're supposed to win, you lose a couple of them first before you go on. And the Bucs learned the hard way today.
They really did, Chris. You know, they almost would have been better off having somebody like San Francisco or Washington come in, because then they would not so much would have been expected of them. I thought time management in this game, though, was really the key. I think what happened here, Sam went for the fake field goal when he was down 10. If they kick it and make it, and Willis has got the leg to kick a 44-yarder, then they're down 7. Then at the end of the game, the clock runs out with them trying to score, couldn't get it in. Still, bad clock management at the end. I was really surprised about that.
But two teams certainly a lot better than they were at this point a year ago. Of course, that's not saying a lot. One thing we do know that with Jeff George at the helm, yeah, the Colts are 1-0. They also score a little more. First 3 games combined, the Colts got only 24 points. Today, with Jeff George, partly due to him, partly due to others, they got 24 points and a win. When we return, the Pack, an old friend in Atlanta, Brett Favre, trying to do it to the Atlanta Falcons. Will the Falcons be nice hosts? Stay with us.
If you're gonna travel, no matter where you go, you need a hand. We wanna let you know we can help. We got everything it takes.
Now when you book Dollar Rent-A-Car and use the American Express card, at participating locations, you'll get an immediate free upgrade. You'll also receive a travel help pack of additional upgrades and discounts on future rentals.
It would sure do us good to do you good. Let us help.
Call your travel agent today.
We can help.
One of these engines was filled with Castrol Syntec, a new synthetic oil. The rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to proof of point. You see, Syntec's unique molecular structure bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't.
When you are making a list of the greatest achievements of this century, please consider Subway's 79-cent round sandwiches. We have taken the great taste of Subway, including our fresh-baked bread, and made it round. So it's highly portable and highly affordable with a low, low, low price of 79 cents. While this great achievement may not change your life as much as the Clapper, our round sandwiches certainly do taste better, and you can get one for only 79 cents.
Introducing the round sandwiches for as low as 79 cents only at Subway.
NFL Primetime is brought to you by Dollar Rent-A-Car and your local travel agent. By Castrol Syntec, the new synthetic oil that protects in ways other oils can't. And by Subway, sandwiches and salads made fresh before your eyes.
The demons for Marty Schottenheimer have returned in the person of John Elway. 13 yards to Vance Johnson. 31 seconds to go. The Broncos lead the Chiefs 20-19, but Chiefs have the ball at midfield. We'll keep you posted. When we return, touchdowns hard to come by in the Lions-Saints game. We'll show you what happened and keep you updated on the late games.
Your time is precious. You need a health club that fits your busy schedule. Olympia Health Club, located in Olympic Towers across from the Hyatt, is minutes away from your downtown office. You never have to wait to work out. Membership is limited, so Olympia is never overcrowded. State-of-the-art facilities include everything: Nautilus, free weights, Stairmaster, and Life Cycles. You can fit fitness into your busy schedule. Come see what a downtown health club can do for you. Come to Olympia Health Club. Call for a free one-week trial with a personal trainer.
Home repairs can be overwhelming. Before tackling your next home improvement project, consult with the experts, DeGeorge. DeGeorge has been specializing in ceilings, windows, and doors since 1955. Backed by a solid staff of qualified installers, no subcontractors. Visit our showroom at 1049 Military Road, and we'll show you a variety of fine quality products to fit your budget. And DeGeorge guarantees your work to be done correctly and on time. Stop by and see why we say,
we go where you are, no matter how far.
Coach Paterno, where can I find great football without end?
In your face.
All weekend, football without end is in your face on ESPN. Saturday is college games galore.
And results from every conference. Sunday, it's NFL Game Day. NFL Primetime.
And ESPN Sunday Night NFL. This ends the football without end.
On ESPN, great football without end is
in your face.
In your face.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. We'd like to welcome those of you that have watched the Phoenix Cardinals upset the Washington Redskins 27-24. Chip Lohmiller's 40-yard field goal sailed wide, would have put it into overtime, was no good, and Joe Bugle beats Joe Gibbs for the first time in his head coaching career. Highlights of that one later on, and we'll keep you updated on that wild Denver-Kansas City game. But wild, I don't think was the word, Robin, for the Saints and the Lions, although Saints defense can make you feel pretty wild on offense, even if you're Barry Sanders.
Yeah, they had a pair of wild games last week, both of them losing heartbreakers at home. But you know what? The Saints haven't had much success over the years playing the Lions in Detroit. In fact, prior to today's game, the last and only time that the Saints had beaten the Lions in Detroit was 4 years ago. But the Saints felt pretty good about their chances this time, knowing what happened last week when the Bucs came to the Motor City. And we'll find out how the Saints did against the Lions this time. We'll pick it up 38 seconds left in the first half. Saints up 3-0 on a 50-yard field goal by Morton Anderson. Rodney Peete, he is brought down by Sam Mills. Get used to that, Rodney. But Peete kept the drive alive. 3rd and 17. Peete connects with Aubrey Matthews, an 18-yard gain to the 20. Then Peete, 7 yards to Willie Green. Wayne Font's team has only gotten 1 touchdown inside the 20 all year, but would this drive be different? 1st and goal. Peete throws over Green's head, incomplete. 2nd and goal. Peete can't find anyone open, so just throws it away in the end zone. But on 3rd and goal, just 3 seconds left in the half. Peete finds ex-Saint Brett Perriman in the end zone for the touchdown. Lions go ahead 7-3 at the half, Joe.
Well, you know what makes it really easy here, Robin, is the fact that Jimmy Smith just flat slips. You see, Peete, good timing throw, but it's a lot easier when nobody's there.
Yeah, that's true. Second half, Rodney Peete pressured by the Saints defense again. Ricky Jackson doing the honors this time, big number 57. And then Peete brought down by Wayne Martin. And it's Martin again, all over Peete. Saints sack Peete 6 times on the day. Peete ineffective. They go to Barry Sanders, who, strange enough, has been ineffective himself this season. Sanders will try to go outside on the Saints. Doesn't get much. Sanders again. Les Miller all over him. He loses 3 yards. Peete tries to throw to Sanders. This time, nothing doing. Not that way anyway. Keep playing the second half. Lions deep in their own territory. Peete muffs the handoff to Sanders. Frank Warren recovers it. Let's take another look, Joe.
You'll see once he gets the exchange from center, he never really quite has possession of the ball. It looks like he was fumbling it all the way before he ever got it to Barry.
Yeah, handoff not Barry's fault at all, but Sanders just 9 carries, 36 yards. The fumble gives Bobby Hebert the ball back. Saints down 7-6. Hebert gives it to the rookie, Von Dunbar, who powers 8 yards down to the 2-yard line. They give it to the big rookie again, Dunbar. His first touchdown, and the first rushing touchdown of the year for the Saints, Joe.
Yeah, but when you got a guy like Ironhead Hayward ahead of you, it's like having a guard. Watch the block he throws, right part of your screen. Big number 34, that's a mismatch when he's on a DB.
Throwing his weight around like that. A solid day for Von Dunbar. 70 yards, 22 carries, and that 1 touchdown. Wayne Font's team down 6 points, 56 seconds left in the game, and it is Mr. Swilling. Didn't go with the Lions. The sack on Pete. 2nd down, 21, Pete. He's hit by Frank Warren, incomplete. 3rd and 21, Rodney Pete, incomplete to Willie Green. 4th and 21, the last chance. Pete does connect with Willie Green, but short of the 1st down. Wayne Fonts, his team is now 1-4, 2nd consecutive loss at home, but the Lion faithful, they still believe. Lions ran only 10 plays in the 3rd quarter. The Lions' time of possession, get this, only 19 minutes and 17 seconds. Approximately 6 minutes below their average. The Saints 6 more sacks. They now have 19 on the season. Pat Swilling, Wayne Martin each had 2. Now, Joe, Barry Sanders, another miserable day. We saw his stats, but he's just not getting the blocking. It's not all his fault.
You're right. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head there, Robin. It isn't Barry Sanders' fault. Barry Sanders is doing everything he can. We saw an interview earlier on Game Day today where Wayne Fonts simply stated, I'm not going to give away the farm just to get an offensive lineman or a backup offensive lineman. I would consider maybe a piece of the farm, a barn, an acre here or two, to go find some kind of offensive lineman, because that's what they're really lacking.
Surely there's a tractor that can come up with somewhere. Surely there is. Well, I'll tell you what, piece of the farm, yeah, that's for sure when it comes to Dion and Dion Jr. It was the Atlanta Falcons at home against the Green Bay Packers. We're talking about Deion Sanders against Terrell Buckley, the kind of guy that followed in his footsteps at Florida State. And Brett Favre, once upon a time, the backup to Chris Miller, a quarterback at Atlanta. Now, quarterback of Green Bay, back down to Hotlanta. What could he do? Well, Sterling Sharp says, prime time, can I get your autograph before you play for the Atlanta Braves and the NLCS and possibly the World Series? Brett Favre couldn't find Sterling there, and this is over the head of Vince Workman. Favre is too fired up on this first drive, and this one is just gone. But doink! Jesse Tuggle makes the nice diving interception. Favre 2 of 6 early in his first 2 possessions. So the Falcons take over the 50-yard line, and something that they don't do very well very often. That's run the football. But Keith Jones, looking at the ranked defenses, number 27 and 28 going into the game, and Jones carries for 26 yards. Then Chris Miller to Andre Bad Moon Rison. Puts the twist on Vinnie Clark, goes for 13 yards. Then Miller to Mike Pritchard. Yes, he's over. Touchdown, 7-0 Falcons. And Mike Holmgren says, we know we're going to have to score some points here against Hotlanta. Still in the first quarter. The Falcons get the ball back. Miller to Rison, who takes the interception away from Leroy Butler. Beautiful play. Look at us to get down. Then, to cap the drive, Miller, I see it, Bad Moon Rison, 14-0 Falcons, Joe.
The great thing here is this ball is released before he ever turns around. Right part of your screen, Miller fires it. Rison just reaches back behind him, plucks it out of the air. No chance for the DB to make a play.
Under a minute to go in the first half, and Brett Favre warms up. One day they expect big things from tight end Jackie Harris. There's a completion. Then to Vince Workman, my way back to you, babe, out of bounds. Favre to Sanjay Beach, and then Favre to Harry Cindy, who goes down under and out of bounds. Favre to Jackie Harris. Timeout, timeout, timeout. Yes, they get it with 1 second to go. Favre 18 of 23 in the first half after that slow start. But something you pointed out last week on Game Day, Joe Mikowski here. Favre holding. Jackie not as confident with the new holder. 42-yard field goal misses. 14-0 half Falcons. Now, beginning of the third quarter. Prime time, prime time, prime time. Watch this. Whoa, over the kicker. And he's tackled by Roland Mitchell. Sets up a Norm Johnson field goal. 17-0 Falcons. But the pack starting to look sharp, as in Sterling, who carries this pass from Favre down to the 24. Then Sharp makes the move on Tim McCarr at the 12, and he's gone. It's a touchdown, and it's 17-7. Sharp 9 catches for 107 yards, much to the dismay of Jerry Glanville. Chris Miller to Mike Pritchard, nailed by Chuck Cecil of the pack. But that does set up Miller to Andre Rison. What doghouse? Touchdown again, 24-10.
Right here at the line of scrimmage is where this play is made. Gets right on top of Terrell Buckley. Buckley can't find him. Never has any idea. Says, where's the ball? Where's the ball? Oh, it's there.
Pack with 1 chance left. Under 3 minutes to go. Favre to Sidney. Then to Vince Workman. What, 8 balls today? Gets out of bounds. And here's the pass to Sanjay Muscle Beach, who has muscled himself by the Falcons. Oh, he's just nailed. Terry Ray recovers, and that's that. Despite 33 of 43 numbers for Brett Favre and 276 yards passing, the Falcons beat the Green Bay Packers 24-10 in a game they had to win after 3 straight losses. So both teams both teams are at 2-3. As we go inside the numbers, we set back to the Lions game. The first 5 games Barry Sanders played last year, remember he missed game 1. For the first 5 that he played last year, the Lions won all of them because he ran for 640 yards and 7 touchdowns. The 5 games this year, Barry's run for less than half, 315 yards. No wonder the Lions are 1-4. When we return, the Bears and the Vikings looked like it was all Chicago. Minnesota had other ideas, as Jim Harbaugh found out the hard way.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
He may be a Superman, but after 75 fastballs, even Nolan Ryan's muscles can ache.
After the game, it's Advil, and those aches are long gone.
Today, it isn't aspirin or Tylenol acetaminophen. It's Advil. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Yep. Welcome back to NFL Primetime. We'd like to welcome those of you that have watched the torture of Marty Schottenheimer and the Kansas City Chiefs again. They drove to midfield. They couldn't get into field goal range for Nick Lowry, and the Denver Broncos have defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 20-19. Unbelievable. We'll show you highlights of that as Elway pulls another one out of the fire against Schottenheimer, either Browns or now the Chiefs. It's not fair to watch, but we're going to show it to you anyway a little bit later on. All right, Chicago at Minnesota. If you're a fan of the Bears, this one wasn't fair to watch either. NFC Central upside down this year. The Vikings, all of a sudden, the new kids on the block are up. Teams like Chicago and Detroit, the old guard, are down. Would it continue to be a brave new world in the black and blue division? Let's check out what happens as the Bears play the Vikings. No score first quarter. Jim Harbaugh, who has a good knack of scrambling, scrambles into Viking territory. That sets up a 50-yard field goal attempt by Kevin Butler. And Butler did it. He nails it. And with that three-pointer becomes the all-time Bears scoring leader. 753 points, passes Walter Payton. Payton outgained him on the ground, though. Danny Abramowitz. They're all fired up on the Bears sideline. Terry Allen's had a good start this season, and he had a good game today. Allen zips forward, down 30 yards inside Bear territory. Vikings on a roll. The screen pass to Roger Craig. Now Wolford with the saving tackle. Another screen to Roger Craig. And then another play to Roger Craig. This time he runs it into the end zone for a touchdown. The Vikings on the board, but...
Holding, number 83 offense, 10 yards. We'll replay second down.
No, I'm sure they're mistaken. Guys from Brown, Steve Jordan, do not get holding penalties. At any rate, Gannon forced the pass, and he was mistaken because Donnell Wolford picks it off. So no touchdown, and worse, the Bears have the ball. More turnovers, Allen fumbles. The fridge falls on it for the Bears. And then Allen fumbled again. Richard Dent with a nice strip job with the left hand right there, and another fumble. So 4 turnovers forced by Dent and company on the Bears D. Chris Tolman, though, knows something about defense himself. He nails Neil Anderson for a loss. Then avoids the cut block by Troy Auzine, who has done a nice job this year, and pressures Harbaugh into a quick incompletion. Then Dolman blows right past Auzine and makes the sack. 8th sack of the year, leads the NFL. 6-0 Bears under a minute to go. And Harbaugh, you know his favorite receiver. He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest. But he's one of the toughest. Tom Waddle on the rainbow, 28 yards, 13-0 Bears.
When you take a look at this throw, look at the catch. The throw is perfect. Carl Lee's defense was great. And Aaron Harbaugh says, listen, you didn't know what it was, John Randall, let me tell you, it was a touchdown. See you later.
He's a great possession receiver, and Harbaugh knows it early in the second half, Joe.
You bet.
Here he goes to Waddle again for a first down. And then why not try it again, right?
You got to keep going for it. I mean, Waddle's the guy. He catches anything that's near him. Just keep on putting it up around him.
And then, knowing that, Harbaugh on the draw into the end zone, touchdown, 20-0 Bears.
What's going to happen is you'll see everybody in double coverage on the outside, but watch the block by Jerry Fontenot. Great block. Harbaugh goes in untouched. Dennis Green not happy.
Jim Harbaugh has him rolling 20-0 until he calls an audible. And Todd Scott, the man that replaced Joey Browner, picks it up and goes into the end zone 35 yards. The Vikings all of a sudden wake up the first minute of the fourth quarter. It's 20-7. You think Mike isn't annoyed? Don't ever call that play again. Don't do it. Jim might have got the message. More Vikings play. Almost a second interception from Scott right there. Ditka can feel it slipping. Harbaugh can only watch as now Rich Gannon, pretty quiet for three quarters, goes to work to Chris Carter in the end zone, touchdown, 20-14.
Buddy Ryan said all Chris Carter does is catch touchdowns. That's why I got rid of him.
Here's another one, a one-point Gannon, 7 for 7 here late. Harbaugh is dragged down by John Reynolds. Now you're down 20-14. Don't know that you want to dance, but maybe he knew it was coming. Vikings down 6, and Rich Gannon on a roll. It's Roger Craig. Randall McDaniel with a nice block, number 64. Some good downfield blocking as well, down to the 35-yard line. Then Gannon fakes right, goes left, scrambles. Good cutback down to the 15. 3rd and 4. Big play, and Terry Allen picks up the first down. Then at the 1. Old reliable Roger Craig. The Vikings have never come from this far back in the fourth quarter, down 20 points to start it. They win it, 21-20. Dennis Green is 4-1. Mike Ditka is 2-3. The Vikings win it. Gannon was hot late. What a comeback for Minnesota, and what an explosion by Mike Ditka.
Sometimes we get too smart for our own selves, and when the player knows more than the coach, you have a problem. So that's part of life, I guess. There's nothing more I can say.
Is that the case in that pickoff, Mike, that Harbaugh?
You have to talk to him.
I'm very upset that happened, obviously, but that's the way it goes. I played my heart out for every play I was in there, and made a mistake and couldn't overcome it.
I'm not going to put 47 guys' careers in the hand of somebody who thinks he knows more than I know. That's just the way I feel.
Can't call an audible anymore. What's your reaction? He's the coach.
Well, these are two guys that have a pretty good relationship, first of all. I mean, don't read that into it. However, 20-0, Joe, on that play. You feel like you've got it going? Is Harbaugh right? Obviously, the coach doesn't think so.
Well, no. What they do is if they teach you, if something's there, you take it. And what happened, it looks like one-on-one coverage. You got Neil Anderson against a strong safety. It looks like it's a good matchup. The bottom line is, Harbaugh also mentioned after the game, he said, well, I didn't like what I saw, and I was going to throw it away. If you're going to throw it away, Jim, throw it into the 4th, 5th, or 6th row. Don't throw it anywhere where somebody can get their hands on it.
Hey, but that was not a 21-point interception. I mean, it may have turned the tide and the momentum, but yet it was other things going on for the Vikes and not for the Bears in the fourth quarter.
Well, for the Vikes, see, the big thing about the Vikes, the first part of the game, they come out and they turn the ball over 3 times, so they're really not into it very well. Then all of a sudden they turn it around, they don't turn the ball over, then they just start making plays, moving the ball down the field. Boom, before you know it, you're down by a point.
And the Minnesota Vikings are on top by their lonesome in the NFC Central. 4-1. You add that to 4-0 in the preseason. And Dennis Green's had a nice stay at Minnesota.
He had a run.
The Bears have not had a nice stay in the second half this year, that's for sure. First half, they get off to great starts, as they did today. This year, they've outscored their opponent 74-31. But wow, in the second half, 100-34, the Bears have been outscored. That will always bury it. We'll be back with the late highlights in a moment.
Green. Who wouldn't envy green? Such a versatile color. Summer, winter, Indoors or out, green's a natural. And nobody does green like Dockers. Brown, the only color born in September. Warm, big shoulders, brown. Strong, earthy, a color with both feet on the ground. And nobody does brown like Dockers.
Let it rain. Let it snow. You've got Michelin's new all-season NXV4, the luxury performance tire with climate control.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. The numbers were very simple. The Buffalo Bills had beaten the Miami Dolphins 10 out of the last 11 times. The Dolphins hadn't won in Buffalo since 1986. Thurman Thomas in the running game always kills the Miami Dolphins. So even though both teams were unbeaten, you had to be an idiot to think that Miami had a shot at the Bills at Orchard Park, New York. But they've never had Warden Keith Jackson, and he can contribute a lot, Joe.
There he is. You see him in the slot. He'll go out and being used as a wide receiver on the slot side. Makes an excellent reception right here behind the defensive back. Then from the tight end position, he does a good job of run blocking. Now, this is something he hasn't really been known for. Now, on this particular play, it's interesting. Dan Marino's going to go to Bobby Humphrey on the left side of the field. You figure, geez, what a great move by Humphrey. But wait a second. Who's covering Keith Jackson? How about everybody? Keith Jackson draws so much attention, he gets double covered. That allows Bobby Humphrey to be open on the other side.
Not only did they get Keith Jackson, they got Mark Clayton healthy for the first time this year, and Marino loves Mark Clayton, that's for sure. Also appearing this week, Bobby Humphrey missed a team flight up to Buffalo, but he got there in time to make this run. An important part of the offense today, and Don Shula says, you know what, we got some big-time players here, all contributing. Meanwhile, the Buffalo offense, Thurman Thomas always kills Miami, not today.
Take a look at the numbers of the Dolphins that are on the line. Everybody up there to try and stop the run, just slamming Thomas. He gets stuffed by Brian Cox. Here comes David Griggs. He makes the move on the outside between Griggs and Cox. Thurman Thomas had nowhere to go.
He only had 33 yards. The Bills only 63 yards rushing all day. So they need to pass it. And Jim Kelly, some of them, frankly, just floated. Louis Oliver picked them off for the first time and makes some nice moves in Buffalo territory. That leads to Dan Marino. He can roll out of the pocket a little bit, especially if he can zip one. So, it's Keith Jackson. He dives for the touchdown. You couldn't have scripted it any better. Miami leads it 10-3. Kelly, next time, picked off by corner J.B. Brown. Jarvis Williams, 26, makes a block on Kelly, but Kelly eventually knocks him out at the 34. And Marino, turn the page. It's Tony Page. Touchdown, 17-3. Marv Levy is befuddled. Less than 2 minutes to go. The Bills so dangerous in this spot. Kelly to Andre Reed for 28 yards. Kelly to the other wideout, James Lofton for 13. Kelly has time, then moves, then tosses to Thurman Thomas for 20. Then to the end zone to Andre Reed. Touchdown, just like that. It's only 17-10 Dolphins at the half. But Don Shula's team came out fired up in the second half. 3rd and 19. When you're hot, you're hot. Doink into the hands of Mark Clayton. 511 catches lifetime for Clayton. A new Miami record. That allows the drive to continue. Remember, that was 3rd and 19. Then from the 9, Marino, who is 21 of 33 for 282. Here's 9 of them to Bobby Humphrey, 24-10. Miami over the shocked Bills. Here comes Buffalo. Kelly to Lofton for 16. Kelly to Thurman Thomas. Watch Thurman shake Kerry Glenn and pick up 12. But he had some blocking.
Oh, did he have some blocking. Watch this shot by Tasker. There's Thomas making move. Steve Tasker from the left. Kaboom! Wow. Hello, Louis Oliver. It's me.
And then on the pitch to Thomas, 5 yards. And again, the diminutive Tasker's involved.
Well, you think Steve Tasker, I mean, he's a special teamer by nature. Now he comes down in motion, says, where's Marco Coleman? Louis Oliver was a little guy. Let me take on a bigger guy.
Poised to cut it to 7. Sorry. Lewis Oliver 3 yards deep into the end zone. And don't tell me, but he just could go all the way. Tying the NFL record, 103 yards in interception return for a touchdown. Tying the mark held by Benzie Glenn, then of the Chargers. He's winded, but he can dance. So instead of 24-17, it's 31-10 with Oliver's play. He had 3 interceptions. The Dolphins forced 5 turnovers. For only the second week in the last 71, the Bills do not have at least a share of the lead in the AFC East. Oh, my goodness, it's Miami running away at Buffalo, 37-10, and Buffalo didn't even register a sack. It was a whopping on both sides of the ball, and Jim Kelly knew it.
Yeah, what can you say when you play a game like today and they shut you down? You know, there's no excuses. We got our ass kicked today.
Take it to the house. It's about time we get one out of here. Damn! We're gonna ride these buffaloes all the way back to the house right now. We're not gonna even take the plane. We're gonna put saddles on their back, ride them back to Miami.
Fired up Dolphins, as well they should be. The last undefeated team in the AFC. A totally defeated team in the AFC, the Raiders. And a lot of people came disguised as empty seats at the LA Mausoleum for their game with the Giants today. Todd Marinovich hits his hand on the helmet of teammate Steve Wisniewski on his follow-through. Marinovich suffered a cut, bruise on his left hand. He was shelved for a while in favor of Jay Schrader. Jeff Mick Jager, Pro Bowler last year. This year, it's Memory Motel. He misses a 45-yarder. Second quarter, Marinovich back hit Ethan Horton. Here's a who. He also hears Lamar Graves, who picks up the fumble. The Raiders lead the NFL most turnovers. Not a good department to be number 1, and Art Shell knows it. Then, Jager. No, on a 38-yard field goal. At this point, he's 5 for 13. Kind of the epitome of the Raiders. Meanwhile, the Giants, Phil Simms on the flea flicker. The Stephen Baker used to be a security guard when he was younger at the Coliseum. Gives the Giants security as Simms was 12 for 14 in the first half. Gerard Bunch looks to score.
Great job by Doug Riesenberg. He pushes Howie Long all the way back and knocks him into Weston Moss.
Ray Handley leads Al Davis's Raiders. Yes, that's right, 10-3 early in the third quarter. Marinovich to Tim Brown. Collins almost gets it. Renee Thompson. No, they won't get Timmy Brown. 68 yards. All of a sudden, the Raiders have scored a rare touchdown and have tied it at 10.
Watch this play. Mark Collins is going to go for the interception. Brown plants. Collins figures he's got it picked. Got it. Nope, don't got it. Now got nothing. Tim Brown's going the other way.
Marinovich with a tie game, 9:20 to go, deep to Willie Gall. Again, Collins close but no cigar. Ray Handley trying to say, Mark, you're a good player, hang in there. And can you believe it? From 54 yards out, the emotional rescue for Jeff Jager. The longest of his career couldn't come at a better time. The Raiders, who hadn't won since December 1st, now have won in October. The Raiders beat the Giants 13-10, leaving each team with just one win. But for the Raiders, the shackles are off their back. Let's go back to the Miami win over Buffalo, which was really resounding. Nobody expected a score like that, certainly Miami's win. What were their defense against Buffalo did a great job, Joe.
Everybody knows, and you talk about Miami's offense, you know they're there with Jackson's acquisition, Bobby Humphrey there, 2 new names on that side of the ball. But really, credit's got to go to Tom Olivadotti and the great job he did with the defense. I think he gave Buffalo a lot of different looks. 2 down linemen, 3 down linemen, 4 down linemen, mixing linebackers, rushing sometimes, dropping back. Troy Vincent played very well. Marco Coleman played very well. John Offerdahl was back, made a big play on the first interception, sacking Kelly. So you get a lot of great play from names that weren't there last year. I think that was a big difference. They've got some guys playing now. Brian Cox in his second year, making big tackles for the run. They're really getting that unit playing tough together.
Well, we talked about it on draft day, getting those guys, and Cox become a player, Offerdahl back. Hey, they're the last undefeated team in the AFC. Hats off to the Miami Dolphins. They deserve their win big time over the Bills. Now, one reason they deserved it, we told you 10 of 11 wins. 10 of their last 11 games were Buffalo wins until today. In those wins, they got 191 yards rushing, Today, the Dolphin defense held them to only 63 yards rushing. What a change, and what a win for Miami. When we return, Redskins over the Cards, always a layup, right? That's what we're here for. That's why you don't play games on paper and you watch Primetime so we can show you what happens. Stay with us.
What makes a mountain man a mountain man? Let's find out. Must a mountain man be a big burly guy with an axe? A man of steel? Must a mountain man even be a man? Actually, the only requirement is the right beer. Smooth bush beer or easy drinking Busch Light. So, head for the mountains and learn what makes the typical mountain man anything but.
Because of the way our power tape fits your hand, you could do this all day long. The Series 2000 from Lufkin.
These fans are warming up for the Super Bowl. They think they're a shoo-in to win Cooper Tools' free trip for 4. But everyone who enters has an equal chance. Sign up where Cooper Tools are sold and may the best team win.
There's a house whose rooms I know by heart, where children grew up and I grew old. A house where I belong.
At the Prudential, the terminally ill can collect their death benefit while they're alive, so they can afford to live out their days not in a hospital, but at home.
There's a house where I belong.
He's back. This time we get him. STP gas treatment. Cleans intake valves and fuel injectors to help engines run better. STP, the edge.
Well, one thing you could be sure of, Robin, is that, Joe Gibbs, Joe Bugle, good friends, but it's always Gibbs. It's always Gibbs, isn't it?
Like you said, that's why we're here at 7 o'clock. Washington and the Cards, both coming off a bye week. Phoenix, the only winless team left in the NFC. They came in losers of 11 straight. It doesn't help when you give up a league-high 28 points, but it does help if you're a former assistant coach. Joe Bugle telling Chris Chandler to watch the Skins offense. Redskins' first possession, and Mark Rippon finds Ricky Sanders for the touchdown. 7-0 Redskins. Defensive coordinator Fritz Shermer wondering, how do you stop these guys? Well, we're still in the first. Ernest Biner, behind that good blocking by the Hogs, scores easily for a 14-0 lead. Meanwhile, Chris Chandler not getting protection. Charlie Mann sacks him. Kurt Cabella sacks him. Washington's defense had 3 sacks, 4 hurries, 3 knockdowns, all in the first half. Third quarter, 24-6 Redskins. Rippon's pass is intercepted by Robert Massey, and he goes down the sideline for the score. It's 24-13. In the fourth quarter, it's still that same score, 24-13. Chandler scrambling, trying to buy some time. Marshall hauls him down from behind. Skins eventually take over on downs. 3 plays later, Rippon again going back. Again, it's picked off by Robert Massey. He dances on in, and what, does he think he's prime time or something? 24-20, Redskins. Cardinals in the fourth and inches. Johnny Johnson gets it and then some. Same drive. Chris Chandler hits Larry Centers, and he just bulldozes his way into the end zone. 27-24 Cards with 41 seconds remaining. Redskins make a late charge. Mark Rippon finds Ernest Biner, and he takes it on down to the 23-yard line. So Joe Gibbs, he sends out Chip Lowmiller. 5 seconds left to go in the game. A 40-yard attempt. Wide right. The Cardinals do win by a final of 27-24. That winless streak comes to an end. The Cardinals' first win since October 20th of 1991. Their first win over Washington since September 25th, 1988. Well, how about the Seahawks and Lightning Bolts? The Chargers looking to avoid their second straight 0-5 start. The Chargers, you know what, they've really been stinking up the joint of late. Get that skunk out of there. Early in the first quarter, Stan Humphries, the pretty pass to Anthony Miller, and he goes 67 yards for the touchdown, the obligatory early
Naturally.
six. Yeah, of course. It's the Seahawks. Or rather, excuse me, Lightning Bolts. Second quarter. Kelly Stauffer knocked out of the game because of the sack by Leslie O'Neal. Stauffer would go out with a shoulder injury. Enter Dan McGuire. And he is promptly picked off by Anthony Blaylock. End of the first half, 3rd and goal. Chargers up 10-3. Stan Humphries incomplete out of the end zone. But Rufus Porter called for illegal use of hands. 2 plays later, Humphries hits Anthony Miller again for the touchdown. 5-yard reception. A bit of controversy, though, Joe.
Oh, yeah, but A&M, watch him make the catch. Now, he's got to remember, there's no instant replay. Does he have possession? Well, is it tucked away? I'd have to say that was inconclusive.
Oh,
touchdown.
That was conclusive. Thank you. Early 3rd quarter. McGuire sacked by Blaze Winter, and the Chargers celebrate the 17-6 win. Go on with your bad self. You can't exactly dance, but I like his spirit. 17-6 is the final. The Chargers held the Seahawks offense to just 180 total yards, both 1 and 4. Let's go inside the numbers now. Our honor roll, if you would please. 300-yard passers. And the man, John Elway, doing it for his man, TJ, Tom Jackson, who was there. And speaking of those Broncos, you know we got them coming up, the Chiefs and the Broncos. How about Gaston Green? Not doing well right here, getting stuffed. But what really happened? We'll have all the highlights as primetime rolls on.
Only half a minute till we open.
Half the town's out there for half-price pizzas.
You have to agree the new all-day, everyday half-price policy isn't half bad.
I'd have to be half-wit not to.
Have one pizza at new menu price. Have a second pizza at half price.
Half price, and that's not the half of it. If you have half a dozen at new menu price, you can have another half dozen at half price.
Half of them in here half an hour.
Half those people look half-starved. I mean, half those people look half-crazed.
Well, guess we have to open the door.
Do we have to?
We have to.
Do we have to?
We have to.
How about halfway?
The new half-price policy, only at Pizza Hut.
Why Capital Heat? Competitive prices, always free estimates, always dependable with 100% guaranteed work, no exceptions. Trained specialized technicians that you can depend on. The highest quality Lennox products. 24-hour emergency service. We'll be there whether or not we installed your original system. Planned service contracts so that we do the worrying for you. Cooling, heating, installation, or repair, call Capital Heat now for a free air conditioning estimate.
Toe meets leather. With instantaneous velocity, the laws of force are set in motion. With constant acceleration equals the torque acting on total energy plus potential energy causes rotational kinematics and constant acceleration of rigid and free-falling bodies.
It's a team that always gives Notre Dame a hard time. The Fighting Irish visit Pitt. Then Stanford faces UCLA Saturday.
College football on ESPN in a class by itself.
The final day of the baseball season, and at the top of the hour, baseball tonight, the hour edition. Who won the home run title? Who will win the MVP? Who are the favorites for the playoffs? We'll be talking at the top of the hour. But right now, we continue to talk Week 5 and what a wild week it was, especially these late games in the National Football League. Marty Schottenheimer, we told you 1-8 as coach of Cleveland and at Kansas City against the Denver Broncos. This time, the Chiefs look like they might have the better team. So the Broncos at Mile High pulled out all the stops. And that means Tom Jackson, number 57, TJ, way to go, into the Ring of Fame. Pat Bolin, the owner, giving him a well-deserved hug. And what a game they saw. Ouch, babe. Marty Schottenheimer says, Dale Carter, you got to catch the kickoff. Gaston Green, flipped by Martin Bayless. Later, Emil Harry makes the catch, but whoa, Braxton is nailed by Fred Jones. And look at Marty, classy as he is, immediately signaling for help rather than everybody else says a great block. David Craig looking good with the Chiefs offense. The play action. Willie Davis, not the Dodger, but the Chief, a touchdown, 50 yards.
On the replay, watch Willie Davis. He gets here now. He doesn't hit the ground. He lands on the Bronco, goes in the end zone, touchdown. It was Braxton he hit, not the ground.
19-6, John Elway and the Broncos have not scored a touchdown at 12 quarters. Under 3 minutes to go, Elway avoids the rush, finds Shannon Sharp. Still going, Elway to Mark Jackson. And then Elway to Mark Jackson, 25 yards, 3 minutes to go, 19-13. Dale Carter with the return. Alton Montgomery hits him at the 5-yard line. The Chiefs 3 and out. Arthur Marshall fumbles, picks it up, and returns it to the 27. Ghosts? What ghosts? Elway on fire. Finds Marshall, 10 yards. Mark, ghosts? What ghosts? Elway to Vance Johnson. It's a touchdown! Seconds to go, 12 yards, 20-19 Denver.
Take a look at this. Elway knows where he's going all the way. It's up, it's in, it's a touchdown. Oh, my goodness. What goes?
But the Chiefs, last gasp. Craig to Willie Davis. They're into Denver territory. DS-49 with the hit. First down. Craig to Emil Debbie Harry. Can't come up with it. Nick Lowry says, I can boot 50-yarders better than anybody. Give me a shot. On 4th down, J.J. Burden complete, but short of the first down. Ghosts? What ghosts? Wow. Denver 20. Kansas City 19. The Broncos 4-1 lead the Chiefs by a game atop the AFC West. Rams and 49ers. Chuck Knox going to have a tough time coaching the Rams against the Niners. No, this is great. We're a candlestick where the Rams have won 3 of the last 4. Steve Young, we can pin him in. Where's he going to? We can pin him in. We can pin him in. I said we can. No scoring result. Second quarter. Jim Everett. We talked on game day in '89, the championship game. It's been downhill since. Not today. Jim Price is right. Then connects with Pat Cotta. 11-yard touchdown. Everett, 9 for 9 in the first half, and we're tied at 7. Fourth quarter, tied at 10. Steve Young throws. Robert Bailey picks it off. And he just could go all the way. Touchdown. Rams 17-10, trying to pull a shocker over the Niners. Pep talk on the Niners sideline. Everett. Jim Price is not right. Doink into the hands of Keith DeLong. That sets up Steve Young running to the end zone, touchdown, 17 all. You like the way he ran the ball? Well, wait till what you're going to see. Why is Jim Price upset? Because he turned the ball over again when David Whitmore strips him right there. A good play. 3:55 to go, 17 all. Remember the run by Young, 1988 against the Vikings? Look at this one. At the 35, at the 30, at the 25. He makes the cut at the 20, the 15, the 10, the stiff arm. Touchdown. He's unbelievable. The Niners lead at 24-17. 2-minute warning. Jim Everett. And he calls for Flipper Anderson. 9-yard touchdown. Tied at 24. Boom. Minute 37 to go. Can Steve Young lead them on a Montana-esque march to Brent Jones? Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling for 42 yards. Minute 8 to go, 2nd and 10. Young. Oh, Jerry Rice, are you serious? 26 yards. 5 seconds to go. 2 or 3 weeks ago, they brought in kickers to replace Mike Cofer. None of them look good. And Cofer looks great right now. The 21-yard field goal with seconds to go. And the Niners escape. The Los Angeles Rams just barely. 27-24. The Niners at 4-1 remain atop the NFC West. Wow. When we return, there's more on NFL Primetime. First, our 100-yard rusher on a roll. 1. Cleveland Gary. They didn't win, but he was good. We'll be back.
Each year, corporate America spends over $10 billion on overnight shipping. Yet, according to a report in the Wall Street Journal, $3 billion of that is wasted. If you find that kind of inefficiency alarming, call UPS. We can save you up to 40% on overnight deliveries and help prevent your profits from going up in smoke. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
The tingle feels like it's taking away the dandruff. That's me taking the Denorex shampoo test. I love that tingle. It convinced me to switch from Head & Shoulders to Denorex.
Denorex with conditioners. The dandruff shampoo you can feel working.
I'm a Denorex guy now.
The fifth down controversy between Colorado and Missouri made it one of the weirdest endings to a ball game. They return to the site Thursday night live. College football on ESPN in a class by itself.
You've just seen today a veritable plethora of primetime players.
Fake handoff, back to pass. Craig has time, winds up, long spiral downfield for Davis. Over the shoulder, catches the 5. He tumbles into the end zone. Touchdown!
One step back, throws, and it's picked off, intercepted. Touchdown, the pick off to the 5, to the touchdown. Touchdown. 40 yards on the pickoff.
And Young once again looking to throw. Waters out of the backfield, but Young throws it for somebody else. Intercepted by Bailey at the 20. He's at the 15. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. Robert Bailey cuts back. He's in. Touchdown Rams. No penalty.
Fake by Gannon, rolling out to his left. Tucks his arm and throws it downfield. It is caught! Chris Taylor! Viking touchdown!
Thomas goes in motion. Kelly to throw. Throws it. And it is intercepted and brought back to the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, and down the sideline to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. Goes Lewis Oliver for the touchdown. How do you like that? An electrifying interception and return by Lewis Oliver.
You've suffered an illness or injury and can't work. You apply for Social Security disability benefits but are turned down.
I'm Jeffrey Friedman. At our law firm, we've helped thousands of people win all the benefits they were entitled to. We understand the Social Security system because we've been there so many times fighting for our clients. Don't take no for an answer from the